part 4 to how my aunt abandoned me at the hospital and what happened next. So outside of the family that I grew up with up until my mother's murder, I can remember 4 people from my mother's side of the family. I remember my mother's youngest sister, who a lot of times lived in close proximity to us, so we spent a lot of time with her. I remember my grandfather, my mother's father. I remember my mother's stepmother, who me and my sister recognized as a grandmother, and I barely remembered my mom's oldest sister. I can remember 3 times we might have seen my mom's oldest sister before my mother's murder. She was never really nice to me, and honestly, the first real memory I have of her is me and my sister spending the weekend at her house and her telling me that I couldn't go to church with her because my hair was too nappy. After my mother's murder, we left Los Angeles and moved to the Valley with my aunt and her family. At that time, my aunt isolated me and my sister from everybody that we knew from my dad's side of the family. I can remember having one phone call with my older sister, one of my dad's older daughters, in the time that I lived there with my aunt, and I wasn't allowed to talk to her alone. And after that phone call, I was heavily interrogated about what we were talking about. For 7 years, she kept us away from my dad's side of the family, specifically my older siblings, up until the day that she abandoned me at the hospital. My aunt always hated how close me and my sister's relationship was. She didn't like that I told my sister everything and I told her nothing. So after spending a couple of days with my sister, my dad's son, my brother, called me and told me that my aunt said that I was not allowed to live with my sister, and that if I did not go to live with him in Los Angeles, that I was going to have to come back to her house. So again, she made me leave what I knew behind and go with people who I had not seen in over 7 years because she cut off our contact with them. Because my brother did not want me to go back to my aunt's house, I ended up living with my dad's older daughter, her 6 kids, and her husband. A year and a half later, my dad's daughter and my dad's son, my brother and sister, were sending me on a 3-day bus ride to North Carolina with no food, no money, and no last name. Like for what happened next.